Today I'm going to tell you about 3 healthy habits I've been refining through years of trial and error. Despite being really simple, they have transformed my life. They've improved my sleep, reduced my screen time, more mindful, my emotion regulation has improved, and I'm reading more. And I can't imagine living without these now. And if you watch to the end, I'm going to tell you about a neuroscience supported hack called habit stacking that'll make it much easier to integrate these habits into your routine. Because I know too many of us set New Year's resolutions and we don't actually know how to stick to them in the long term. So let's hop right in. The first healthy habit is charge your phone outside your bedroom. Now it sounds really simple, but most of us touch our phone as the last thing that we do before we go to bed. We're scrolling in bed, and then when we wake up, it's the very first thing that we touch because we have our phone alarm there. This is really damaging. First of all, from a sleep science perspective, seeing screens and blue light right before bed is actually going to interrupt the quality of your sleep, and it makes it harder for you to get to sleep. And the second thing is, if we are scrolling before bed, we're watching videos, we are actively getting stimulated. Social media, YouTube, these are things that are built by big tech to make us feel stimulated. Now, what I do instead is that I actually charge my phone outside my bedroom, and I have this kind of like phone thing. It's like $5 from IKEA. I have built a habit now where every night before bed, I just put my phone in this little cradle and I set it to charge. What it means is that before bed, I now read instead. I can read probably like 30 minutes every day. It helps me wind down a lot easier, and I'm ending my night with a kind of wind down, self-care, time with myself, as opposed to scrolling and looking outward. Now, when it comes to morning, how often is it that we hop on our phones and we're instantly on social media, we're comparing ourselves to others? It is so important that we start our day with ourselves. We spend the rest of our days checking our phones and our computers and our emails, and we are always outward focused. For those of you who use your phone as an alarm, I would recommend that I actually use a Google Home or a physical alarm clock. Hey Google, set alarm for 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Your alarm's set for tomorrow at 9 a.m.
What this helps with is that when I wake up and I just am with myself, I don't immediately turn to my phone. I'm not thinking about what other people are doing. That first 10 minutes of the day is completely mine. I also know it's during these quiet moments, either before bed or in the morning, where I often think about things that maybe I've forgotten. Like, oh gosh, I have to go and message that person. I really wanted to make this intention of going and exercising. When we start our day with this rush of just doing stuff, checking things, emails, replying to things, we often just get into this kind of like rat race. We're unmindful and we just kind of roll on to the next habit without thinking and doing things intentionally. And the third reason why this habit is so important, social media is like a black hole. How many of us have actually been scrolling in bed, we pick our phone up, and actually like 2 hours later we realize we're still scrolling? I don't know how many days during the holidays when I used to charge my phone in my bedroom that I would spend the whole morning just watching videos, and I would start off feeling really gross. Like, what would I do wasting 2 hours? And I'd feel tired and I don't get my morning routine started. Now, my second healthy habit that's transformed my life is deleting social media and video apps off my phone. Every single time I use Instagram, I actually delete the app. So I use it and then I delete it. And if I need to use it again, which is okay, I re-download it. Now, I've done lots of app blocking. I've been trialing app block, which is pretty good, and different types of apps that set timers or reminders. But the thing is, they're quite easy to disable and go into the back end. With your like integrated phone timers, you just click like unpause or unlock. And I found those work very effective. Often I pick my phone up when I'm bored, like I have nothing to do, or I'm just waiting for something, and I'll pick it up, and it's so easy to hop on a social media app or start scrolling on YouTube or TikTok. The idea is when I delete an app, I'm creating friction. 1 minute of getting on the app store and waiting and pressing download and searching for it. This is the little bit of friction that we need to actually break a bad habit. During that time is when we actually have to sit there and we have to consider, is this what I want to be doing? Setting up that little hurdle that makes it harder for me to actually open the app makes it much more likely that as I actually think about, oh, am I bothered? I actually decide no. And this has significantly reduced my social media usage. For most of us, it's not that we intentionally go, oh, I'm going to go and spend half an hour on Instagram. It's that we just find moments in the day where our phone is there and we just pick up our phone and we slip into it. And that is the development of a bad habit or a habit that we don't want. For things that you want to do more of, you want to reduce the friction. We want to make it easier, set it up. And that's the hack that I'm going to talk to you about, habit stacking. For things that we want to break and do less of, I want you to create more friction, more barriers, make it harder for you to actually complete that action. It's the same technique that I use for when I see people with substance use disorders. For instance, with alcohol, if it's already there in the cupboard, people are much more likely to drink it. We actually always try and make sure that there's no alcohol in the house. You can use the same technique for like junk food or whatever it is that you're trying to cut down. And you create that additional friction so that in order to eat that food or to drink the alcohol, you actually have to go out to the shops and buy it. And I'll often find that in that little pause while I'm downloading, or in that little pause where I'm thinking, oh, is it worth it for me to go downstairs and buy some chips or chicken wings? Often the boredom or that little urge fades. And we'll often find that urges only last for a little while and then they do come back down. If you don't fulfill the urge really, really quickly, often the urge just goes away by itself. And my last healthy habit is something I call the pause. It is really natural as humans that when we feel a really strong emotion, we're getting really flustered or getting really upset, overwhelmed by things, we do something called the fight or flight response. We either try and avoid it and we don't think about it and we procrastinate, distract ourselves, or we go the other way and we're overworking, we're getting flustered, we're doing everything, we're staying up late. These fight or flight responses work really well in like a survival situation. If you have to like run away from a tiger, they don't work so well for our modern human problems. Both are really natural ways for our body to feel like we're helping or we're solving the issue. They might make us temporarily reduce this feeling of discomfort and we might feel calm, but in the long run, they do not help us. When I feel overwhelmed, whatever it is, I tell myself to pause. And this pause, gives myself a chance to validate the emotions. Hey, this is really difficult. This is a lot of stuff that I have to do and I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. We identify the emotion and we validate it. Then this pause actually means that I can choose a more intentional or mindful action next. So it could be that I go, gosh, I have to ditch everything. I'm canceling all of my social appointments. I'm going to try and work for the next couple of hours. Or it could be that I actually sit down and I write a plan for what I need to do. It is so true that just 10 minutes of planning before something can save you hours of work. Thinking about this YouTube video, if I had just rambled it and I'd done take after take after take, it would have taken ages. But just taking some time to actually plan out your essay, plan out what you need to do, think about what are the tasks on your to-do list, that little bit of intentional pause and plan is going to mean that you are working smart, not just hard. The other thing is it improves your emotion regulation over time. So when I work with families and we're talking to children about how to actually learn about their emotion, we talk a lot about labeling the emotion. Often we go through life and we just say, I feel bad. Something about this is making me feel bad. Having the pause means that we think, what is it? Is it that I'm feeling anxious and I'm worried about something? What can we do about that? Is it that I'm feeling really tired and overwhelmed and there's no energy left in my cup? In that case, there's a different strategy for something like that. Is it actually that I'm feeling like I'm not on the right pathway and that this doesn't suit me and that I'm just working on this treadmill and it's not the right thing for me? That leads to different actions. If we don't pause and figure out what is underlying the bad emotion, we just kind of run on this wheel and we're not doing things intentionally. The pause both helps you calm down, it gives you a better plan for what to do next, and it also means that often we are more mindful and intentional in our actions. Okay, let's talk about the neuroscience hack. There is something called synaptic pruning. Our brains are these amazing machines. When there are certain things that we do, it actually makes it more efficient to do over and over again. There are certain neurons or pathways that actually get this kind of like layer of insulation or like fat around it. It's like the electrical signal can run faster through those neurons. When we have certain habits and we have done them over and over and over and over again, we are actually strengthening that habit. We are more likely to do it the next time we are faced in the same situation. Synaptic pruning means that it prunes away things that we don't really do. It could have been that 3 years ago you got up and you exercised and you stretched, but if we don't continue to strengthen that pathway and instead for the last 3 years You wake up, have a hot chocolate, and you stay on your phone for the next hour. This pathway is the one that is strengthened, and this pathway is the one that is pruned. This is the science behind why it's so hard for us to change our habits. And this is where the hack comes in. It is called habit stacking. Now, all of us have set habits like, oh, I'm gonna exercise more, I'm gonna eat more healthy this year. You could even make it more specific and simple. It could even be at 8 a.m. every morning, I'm gonna go to the gym and work out for an hour. Issue with this is we are forcing a new habit into our routine. It's not integrated. Habit stacking is kind of piggybacking onto an existing habit. With my phone and the charging, I am piggybacking phone charging onto going to bed. I go to bed and I brush my teeth every single day. This is a habit that I'm gonna do and has been so strengthened. And all I do is that I piggyback my phone habit on the end of that. Every time I brush my teeth and I finish and I'm about to go to bed, I know to put my phone here. Habit stacking means that I don't just say I wanna reduce my screen time. It says that when I go to bed or after I brush my teeth, which is the cue, then I will charge my phone on my stand. Always phrase it as when, insert existing habit, then I will do the new habit. And you can even make habit stacks on habit stacks. So right now my habit stack is after I brush my teeth, I will charge my phone on my phone stand. Once I charge my phone, then I will pick up my Kindle and do half an hour of reading. Once I've finished reading, I will set my alarm on my Google Home. And this habit stacking means that we are no longer just forcing random habits into our life. It makes it so hard when we just say, I want to eat healthier or I want to get up earlier. What ends up happening is that this new habit gets tacked onto a really strong existing pathway, and that is the new pathway. So some easy examples would be, if your New Year's resolution is to kind of get more fit and exercise and maybe lose some weight, instead of it being, I'm going to go exercise more every day, think about when I see a set of stairs or escalator or lift, I always take the stairs. When I brush my teeth, I will do a wall sit for the duration of it, or I'll do 10 squats. When I have my lunch break, I go for a 10-minute walk. We're already doing all of those things naturally and doing new things because as a clinician, we talk so much about that when it comes to substance use or anxiety and depression. It's all about changing the way that we deal with certain cues. And so if you guys have questions or you want me to talk more about this topic on how to kind of set in habits and change our habits, comment down below and let me know and I'll make a long extended video about it. And if you guys are interested in this kind of like organizational study type stuff, I have a video about my study tips for uni, and it says psychology study tips, but I think it really works for all students, and it's my keys to getting a high distinction across uni and like working smart and not just working hard. Alrighty, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!